What did Eddie Howe really mean by competitive edge? Newcastle take on West Ham on Sunday at St James's Park. Let's hear what he had to say in his press conference. I'm Ken, this is Inside the Toon. Eddie Howe's spoken ahead of Newcastle's final home game of the season against West Ham, and his message was clear: what Newcastle must keep their competitive edge. But with Trippier set for what could be his final St James's Park appearances, Joe Linton a doubt, and Lewis Hall backed after his Young Player of the Season nomination, there's plenty bubbling under the surface. It's just about finishing strong, or is Howe really looking towards a summer reset? So Eddie demands a reaction. Final home game of the season. Kieran Trippier tribute. Joe Linton is a doubt, which we will talk about. Lewis Hall's fitness update. And Hall is up for Young Player of the Year award. And what could it mean for next season? Howe's made it clear Newcastle cannot coast into the final home game. He called the West Ham match massive and said Newcastle must finish at St James's Park with a positive feeling. We need that competitive edge. We have to do ourselves justice first and foremost. Howe wants the players to show the supporters that every game still matters, even with the season nearly over. This is a big one for fan connection. One last home push. So some good news. Lewis Hall, Eddie said, is fine and has trained well this week, while Joe Linton is a doubt with a slight thigh problem. Howe said he'll be assessed over the next couple of days. Eddie was full of praise for Lewis Hall. He's backed him after his nomination for the Premier League Young Player of the Season. He said Hall had a very good season, grew stronger after injury, became consistent and produced some eye-catching displays. He would be a worthy winner. Eddie paid tribute to Kieran Trippier. Howe gave a really strong tribute to Kieran ahead of what could be his final game at St James's Park. He praised Trippier for taking a risk by joining Newcastle when the club was fighting relegation, saying it wasn't financially motivated. Trippier chose the project, Howe said. His role in transforming the defence, the Champions League season, his cup final performance, lifting the trophy with Bruno and Lascelles. He was pivotal to all the change that's gone on since he arrived. Thank you, Kieran Trippier. Eddie's also looking forward to next season. The clearest thing was that Howe is already assessing what next year's Newcastle might look like. That doesn't mean he's given up on this season, but it does mean selection decisions are being made with the summer of 26 and 27 in mind. It's all about the details for Eddie. It's the details that win football matches, very much aimed at the drop points, late goals and game management issues that have haunted Newcastle this season. Yep, William Osula has been named Newcastle Seller Player of the Month for April, a proper breakout month. Newcastle confirmed supporters voted him the winner after his April performances, especially after he scored against Bournemouth and Palace. He absolutely stormed the vote with 76%, Malik Chow with 11 and Lewis Miley with 10. The biggest story is that Osula's form has suddenly turned from promising squad player option into a serious attacking weapon. Eddie recently said Osula has rich potential, highlighting his pace, power, two-footed finishing, attitude and the willingness to learn. Howe also noted he scored 4 goals from the previous 6 Premier League appearances. It follows his big March moment too. Osula won the Premier League Guinness Goal of the Month with the sensational 90th minute winner, Get In Will. So thanks for watching. Coming out next will be the match day video, and then followed by the predictions video by myself. I'm Ken. This is Inside the Toon. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Newcastle United match videos from the series. Away the lads. West Ham arrive fighting for survival, but can Newcastle turn desperation into another St James's nightmare? But for whom? This is your matchday programme and review. I think West Ham are in real bother. Newcastle always feel like one of those horrible survival fixtures where the pressure is on the team near the bottom and St James's Park smell blood. West Ham are 18th on 36 points, with Tottenham the only side they can realistically catch now. Opta has them at just 12% survival chance, while Sky's supercomputer recently put their relegation chance at 77%. That tells you the mood. They're not dead, but they are wobbling badly. For Newcastle, this is a dangerous one emotionally. Howe has already spoken about keeping the competitive edge. And after that late Forest equaliser, there is a clear need to finish properly at home. It's the final St James's Park game of the season, so the players owe the crowd a performance. The twist is West Ham have to chase it. A draw may not be enough, and if Spurs get the right result elsewhere, West Ham could be dragged right to the cliff edge. That could make them aggressive, direct and nervy all at once, which is usually chaos football. Newcastle's form is mixed but fragile. 1 win in 6 with the late frustration at Forest, a strong Brighton response and 4 damaging defeats before that. Played 6, won 1, drawn 1, lost 4. 7 goals for in 9 away. So Newcastle limp into West Ham with 1 win in 6, but St James's still demands a response. On the other hand, West Ham's form is better than Newcastle's, but still shaky. 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 defeats from the last 5. They scored 6, conceded 5, but they had 2 clean sheets. They've had a strong spell with Wolves 4-0 and a solid draw at Palace, but back-to-back defeats to Brentford and Arsenal have dragged the pressure right back onto them. Survival spark or final fizzle. We pay homage to those that are injured, Shah, Tino, Miley and Emil Kraft. And we'll honour them at the end of the season with their stats in a separate video. Can West Ham survive? Yes, but it's hanging by a thread. From the Premier League table, West Ham are 18th on 36 points, Tottenham just above them on 38. That means survival is possible, but they'll probably need at least 1 win from the final 2 games, maybe more depending on what Spurs do. The big issue, Newcastle away is brutal timing. West Ham's goal difference is -20, much worse than Spurs on -9, so they can't really rely on goal difference, they need points. Win at St James's Park and survival is alive. Lose and they could be staring straight at relegation. Newcastle away, 2 more games left for the Hammers, no room for error. Can Newcastle qualify for Europe? Yes, mathematically, Newcastle can still qualify for Europe, but realistically it's a long shot now. From the table, Newcastle are 13th on 46 points with 2 games left. The key target area is around 7th place where Brighton are, and they sit on 53. That means Newcastle are 7 points off 7th with only 6 to play for. So realistically, Brighton is not an option. So unless European places stretch lower because of cup winners, qualification rules, Newcastle can't catch 7th on points alone. The teams above them also make it messy. The Mackhams, Fulham, Everton, Chelsea, Brentford and Brighton are all ahead. Newcastle would need to win both remaining games and hope for a very specific chain of results. Top 7 Europe, top 8 probably gone. Outside chance via extra European place still possible but unlikely. 2 games left, 6 points available. Hope hanging by a thread. So thanks for watching. That's the matchday programme ahead of the game against West Ham on Sunday at 5:30 on Sky. And you can see next up is my predictions video coming out on Sunday. Away the lads. Eddie's final home selection could reveal everything. Europe's survival pressure in one massive selection gamble. And it might also mess up my team predictions and score predictions, which are next. I was asked West Ham to win. In my response, has been West Ham win probability at St James's Park feels like a Greggs steak bake still warm at 5 p.m. Possible, but you better not build your whole day around it. So is this Eddie's team that I've picked for Sunday against West Ham? I've gone with Pope, Hall, Chow, Botman, Byrne, Bruno, Tonali, Joe Linton, Murphy, Osula and Barnes. Obviously, Trippier might come in with more experience for Lewis Hall. That's possible. Barnes might not make it out there again, and Willett might turn up. Elanga might get a start for Murphy. There's all sorts of combinations that could happen. Will Eddie make that many changes from the team that nearly beat Forest away last weekend? But it's a big game, so what Eddie does next is difficult to call at the moment. I think the guarantee run for me is Osula through the middle with his goals. Visser and Big Nick are going to have to wait. Big Nick might turn up in midfield if Joe Linton's carrying a knock on his thigh that we've been told by Eddie in the press conference yesterday. But again, we're going to have to wait and see. So that could be a Ramsey or a Willock or a Big Nick. So my guess how's actual 11 maybe 7 or 8 out of the 11 that you see on the picture there. But I'll be slightly surprised if he goes this attacking and fresh all at once. But what are your thoughts? Leave the comments down below. So score prediction, Newcastle West Ham on Sunday. And for the West Ham fans, I hope that the 5 p.m. Greggs steak bake is warm, because that might be all that you're going to get today. So I'll weigh in the recent form, motivation, home away context in likely game state, and then give you my usual prediction and angle. I fancy Newcastle to edge it, but not comfortably. West Ham's desperation make this dangerous. They're 18th, fighting for survival. BBC and Opta picture has them in serious relegation trouble. I've gone for 2-1. Why? Newcastle have looked more competitive again with 4 points from the last 2 games. But the clean sheet issue is still the big warning sign, along with the late goals. BBC Match Facts note Newcastle have kept just 1 clean sheet in the last 14 Premier League games. So I'd be surprised if West Ham don't score. West Ham's recent form is patchy, lost 1-0 to Arsenal, lost 3-0 at Brentford, but also beat Everton and Wolves recently. They're not dead, but away at St James's Park, needing a result, they may have to open up, and that should suit Newcastle. The key factor for me, West Ham need it more, but Newcastle should have enough at home. If Joe Linton misses out, it becomes scrappier, but Barnes, Osula, Bruno, Tonali should still create enough moments. So survival meets Toon pride. Newcastle to win, but not without a scare. So thank you for watching. Next up In this match video series from Inside the Toon, it'll be Eddie's team news, and we'll analyse who he's picked and try and work out why he's picked them. Away the lads. Eddie's named his team ahead of the game against West Ham at 5:30, so let's take a look, shall we? And the team news is out, and the team is Pope, Trippier, Hall, Botman, Tonali, Barnes, Chow, Osula, Big Nick, Bruno and Ramsey. On the bench is Ramsdale, Visser, Gordon, Ilanga, Jacob Murphy, Willock, Byrne, Alex Murphy and Neve. So Joe Linton is injured and doesn't even make the bench. Big Nick does come in. So at the back we've got Trippier, Hall, Botman, Chow. Midfield we've got Bruno, Tonali, Ramsey. And then probably a front three of some sort. Barnes, Osula and Big Nick. Or Big Nick's playing in a 10 role with Barnes out wide and Osula running all over the place. We'll have to wait and see. So Gordon's not getting a look in anymore. This is on the bench, giving Big Nick another chance. Ilanga doesn't seem to make the team anymore. Jacob Murphy's either rested or giving someone else a chance. And then we got the youngsters, Neve and Alex Murphy, making up the bench. So let's see what this team can do, shall we? Away the lads. Let's beat West Ham. I don't give a bugger about Spurs. If they go down, they go down. If West Ham go down, West Ham go down. Away the lads. So that's Eddie's team. Quite happy with it to see, obviously, Ramsey and Big Nick and Osula start. Definitely a change. Nice to see Trippier in. Nice to see Hall keep his place. He is the future. And next will be the halftime report. So we'll see how we get on, shall we? Away the lads. Let's beat these. A fantastic first half for Newcastle United. We hit the ground running, and boy, have we produced a first half to remember. And what an outstanding display by War Flags for Trips. This is the first half report. I'm Ken. This is Inside the Toon. A quick recap on the team that Eddie picked. Pope starts in goal. Trippier and Hall come into the back line. Bruno captains the side. How goes bold with Barnes, Osula and Big Nick in attack. What did you make of that How team before you saw the first half? Eddie said before the match, desperate to win today. The formation was the 4-2-3-1 that we've been looking for some time now. The Osula up front. 4th minute, good move ends with a cross just going over the heads in the box for Newcastle. If Osula had gone down, because he was tripped, it might have been a penalty. 8th minute, Osula was thrown to the ground, no free kick given. 9th minute, first corner to Newcastle after Big Nick shielded the ball so well. 10th minute, short corner with a Bruno shot. It's easy for the keeper to pick up. 11th minute, great running jinx by Osula. His shot is blocked, corner. 12th minute, corner again where we battle for the ball. VAR missed an earlier handball. God knows why it wasn't given, sadly. 12th minute, corner again, Bruno, near post, drilled in, goal kick. Replay show we should have had a penalty. VAR, why? And here come the goals. 15th minute, right-footed shot by Big Nick into the net, gets in. So happy for him. He's appeared to be unhappy recently for the lack of minutes, but he's shown them today. His technical skill is fantastic, in the middle of the park and he battles for the ball. He's definitely built his strength up. He now understands the Premier League. And like buses, they come along in 2s and 3s. And William Osula has scored again. I think that's his 4th in recent weeks. A great shot from outside the box. And God, can he dance at the end? It must have taken him a whole minute to put that together. Sort of Michael Jackson sort of glove type thing. But yeah, you can do it all day long. Just keep scoring, Will. And yes, we're only 23 minutes in. Newcastle corner again, total domination. Short shot, keeper saves. 27th minute, Botman shows his class defending. Wonderful, wonderful stuff from the Dutchman. On come a few subs for West Ham, one including Tati from Argentina. Comes on, first thing he does, obviously fouls Bruno. Ref has a chat with him. 29th minute, double save by Nick Pope. Pure class. What an outstanding save. 31st minute, big chance for Callum Wilson, ex-Newcastle United, now playing up front for West Ham at the back post, but he just missed it, thankfully. 34th minute, lovely chip from Bruno over the West Ham defence. Osula stretches, just cannot get it. Our movement is so good. The one touches are everywhere. 37th minute, another corner. Bruno takes it. Far post this time. Corner again. This time Trippier takes it. It's obviously going to be an outswinger. It's headed out of the box by West Ham. 41st minute, Hall. Brilliant work by him on the left-hand side. He's playing so well, as is Tonali on that side. 43rd minute, we're knocking the ball around quickly and precisely. 3 minutes added in at the end of the 45, and Osula just chases down a back pass from virtually the halfway line. He is so quick, and he was so close as well. So 2-0 to Newcastle. You can see all the green is Newcastle in the attack momentum chart from SofaScore. You can see the blue bit, and that's really when their subs came on. And it took us some time to readjust. But you can see we did, and we got back into it. So that's Osula, and Nick. Get in. 2-0. Fantastic display. And the crowd got into it as well. They were chanting Trippier's name throughout the first 10 minutes of the game. Well done to them. Fantastic. An exciting first half. Probably one of the better ones this season I've seen from Newcastle. And we look forward to the second half, and my final whistle report will be out. Get in. If you like this video, you know what to do. And also you can go back after the match and watch the match day preview, the team predictions, and the team news videos. I'm Ken. This is Inside the Toon. Newcastle beat West Ham 3-1 at St James's Park. A proper feel-good home finale. The big story, Nick Woltemade and William Osula fired Newcastle 2-0 up at half-time. And then Osula scored again to make it 3-0 before West Ham pulled one back in the 69th minute. Has Osula arrived? Oh, yes, he has. This is how the second half played out. 48th minute, Newcastle defending as West Ham seek a way back. 53rd minute, Sandro Tonali is injured and is replaced by Joe Willock. And he walks off, hopefully not anything serious. 54th minute, shot from the edge of the box, easy for Pope to save. 56th minute, Hall shot, pushed out by the West Ham keeper. Bruno shoots inches over the bar afterwards. 58th minute, the West Ham player, Shunchek, is booked, but he should have been sent off. Kicked Bruno, who was on the ground, 3 times. 63rd minute, 2 more subs for West Ham, and soon Sunacek is off. 65th minute, Newcastle go 3 up. William Osula, right-footed shot from the centre of the box. Get in. Some wonderful pictures here. You can see how the ball's pulled back to William Osula, who's on about the penalty spot, and then he just slots it into the far corner. This was followed in the 68th minute, a massive volley from West Ham. What a goal. Right-footed shot from outside the box. Pope had no chance. 70th minute, Big Nick, 1-2. Bruno, who shoots. It's saved, and it's a corner. 74th minute, West Ham go down in the box looking for a penalty. It might be, but it wasn't given. 74th minute, Bowen runs at Newcastle defence. West Ham are really trying. Shoots, and Pope saves. 75th minute, Burning Murphy come on for Barnes in Big Nick. West Ham continue to press, looking for that second. It's starting to worry me a little bit at this point. Big chance for West Ham in the 78th minute. Tati volleys the crossbar. 82nd minute, Hall is booked for pulling Jimmy Somerville back on the halfway line. 84th minute, Pope saves after a back header by Chow. Instinctive save, very close. He did so well. Visser and Elanga come on for Trippier and Osula. Trippier gets a massive round of applause and handshakes all round in hugs. 88th minute, Hall shoots. It's blocked. It's a corner. Very good work by Lewis Hall. 89th minute, and West Ham have not given up looking for that second. Pope catches the ball, thankfully. 90th minute, Bruno is very unhappy with Willock's decision to be selfish and not pass to one of the Toon players. And Joe mouths back. Burn pulls Bruno away. And Bruno goes off to take the corner. 7 minutes added on. Bruno's fouled and pushed soon afterwards. 93rd minute, Somerville runs at Newcastle's defence and is tripped. Dangerous free kick in the 95th minute. Ball bangs off the wall and Pope cleans it up. 96th minute, Murphy breaks, crosses. Elanga tries to do the spectacular. I think Murphy was aiming for Willock, who was on the other side of Elanga and in open space. Willock's not happy. Full time, Newcastle beat West Ham 3-1. West Ham is now on the brink of going down to the Championship. All depends on what Tottenham do against Chelsea on Tuesday. Newcastle maintain their very faint hopes of European football next season. And we celebrate Osula. I think that's 5 goals in about 6 outings now. What a star he's turning out to be. Big Nick also got on the score sheet. It was subbed off in the second half. However, he did no harm to his credit in the bank. He is one. I want him to stay. I want him to be happy. Maybe he goes to World Cup with Germany and scores a few. For me, Bruno was our man of the match, even though Osula got 2. I'll look at it again when I calm down a bit, but I think he was. He got kicked from pillar to post today, and he still ran the show, and he lasted the 90 minutes, although he was absolutely knackered. So Nick Woltemade and Will Osula fired Newcastle 2-0 up in the first half. Then Osula scored again to make it 3-0 before West Ham pulled one back in the 69th minute. For Newcastle, this was exactly the kind of performance fans wanted after the frustration of late points dropped. It was an aggressive start, physical edge, control in midfield, and the young striker in Osula looking absolutely electric. Reports single out Bruno, midfield control, Osula's 2-goal, and Kieran Trippier getting a warm, hot ovation in what may have been his final home appearance. Most likely it has been. The win keeps Newcastle's faint hopes alive for Europe. They're on 49 points with 37 games, and we'll look at that in a minute. West Ham's sit in the drop. Osula has arrived. So West Ham's fate is in Tottenham's hand. If Tottenham get a point, mathematically the goal difference is such that West Ham are down. But if it does go to the last game of the season, it makes it interesting. Tottenham played Chelsea away on Tuesday night. Excuse me. Newcastle, well, we're top of the second half of the table, but we could easily finish 8th, which is where that European Conference spot is. We need results still to go for us. You can see Sunderland are above us. They've had a fantastic season, in credit to them. And they are vying to go to Europe. They might need to get some passports. But where Trippier goes next, we don't know yet. But he's been a fantastic servant to Newcastle United, along with Emil Kraft, who unfortunately is so injured that he can't get on the pitch to get the ovation, but he will do one day. And it was hugs all round, applause all round, and it's end of a legend at Newcastle, to be honest. And we look forward to whatever comes next for him and for us. However, what comes next for me, I'll be putting together the final word report with some deep analysis, reflection, looking at all the talking points, conclusions that people make, including other YouTube creators, and also my post-match perspective and the discussion that follows. Again, thank you for watching. I really enjoy doing these videos, and I'll continue to do so. I'm Ken, and this is Inside the Toon. Howay, the lads. A massive tribute to Kieran Trippier. Eddie Howe has his say after Newcastle beat West Ham 3-1. This is the final word report. Okay, so let's get into the final word report. There's a lot to get through, and there's a nice surprise at the end of this video. Eddie Howe's spoke after the match, after Newcastle beat West Ham 3-1. He talked about professional pride, the strong performance, and had big praise for Osula, Woltemade and Trippier. He told the BBC Sports it was a strong performance and said he was pleased with a lot of aspects of Newcastle's game. He stressed that even with people saying Newcastle had nothing to play for, the players still had a duty to be at our very best and show pride in the shirt. In having said that as well, we have a very faint hope of European Conference football next season. He went on to talk about Kieran Trippier and he was glowing. He called him a brilliant player, but also highlighted his dressing room influence, leadership, positivity in difficult moments, and said wherever he goes, the club will be very lucky. He also praised Will Osula, calling him a player of huge potential with pace, power, two-footed finishing, size, set-piece presence and hold-up qualities, but added he still needs to stay humble because there is more to come. On Big Nick, Howe said he played very well and described him as creative and skillful. So Howe's pride message, Newcastle had nothing to play for, but played like it mattered. Eddie was delighted for Kieran personally, knowing Kieran as well as I do now. He is brilliant on the pitch, but it's off the pitch as well. The stabilising effect he has in the dressing room, positivity in difficult moments, and the way he inspires the players, he's a really inspiring leader. And wherever he goes, that club's going to be very, very lucky. Kieran had a few words to say to the BBC Match of the Day team. He said the most important thing today was the win. Of course it was. We need to start getting wins fast. West Ham were fighting for different reasons. My last ever game at St James's Park, so it was emotional, especially more so now. My children were here and the supporters were fantastic. Like I do in every game since I joined the club, I always try to do my best. It doesn't always happen. But I am an honest guy and player. The first half we did very well. Most games this season we started the second half slowly, but the most important thing was the 3 points. On helping his former club Spurs, he said, we beat West Ham, but I don't want to get into any politics in that side. Whatever happens at the other end of the table happens. On the reception he got from the fans, he said Bruno was top. He's captain, but he wanted me to lead the team out. It was a bit emotional before I walked out. My oldest son is 10, and he could see all the pictures of me on the other side behind the goal, and he understood more. I had my 3 children with me, and they all noticed the flags. You have to try to be professional and focus on the game at hand. I'd just like to thank the fans for everything they've done for me since I've been at the club. They supported me through good performances and bad performances. Unbelievable people, a great city. Big Nick hit a nice milestone for the big man. 50 up for Woltemade. He reaches 50 appearances for Newcastle, a big landmark in black and white. From leading the line to linking play, battling defenders, and chipping in with key moments, he's become a proper part of Eddie Howe's squad now. He's had a tough time, not scoring since the 17th of December. However, his goal today made up for everything. He is one of ours, and he's one for the future. Next season, watch out. In my full-time whistle report, I gave man of the match to Bruno. However, having thought about it overnight, as I record this on Monday morning, I think Osula obviously was the clear man of the match for Newcastle against West Ham. He scored twice in the 3-1 win. He led the line brilliantly, and Red Newcastle gave him a 10 out of 10, calling it the best performance against West Ham. So Osula, 2 goals, big presence, finishing confident. A proper is he becoming the answer up front performance. Nice one, Will. The dance weren't bad either. Our YouTubers had a little bit to say as well. Obviously very, very pleased, including the journalist. Craig Hope thinks Osula's price has gone up somewhere between 30 and 40 million now. Anybody that scores 6 goals in about the last 7 appearances is worth a lot more in the Premier League, by the way. That's my opinion. Yep. We've got lots of the Newcastle creators on YouTube singing the praises and very, very happy. Obviously still concerned about how the season's played out and what will happen in the summer. The however is that we could end on a really bright note at Fulham next Sunday at the Cottage. Win, and if the other results go away, we're back in Europe. We have to remember the players on the injured list: Lewis Miley, Tino Livramento, Emil Kraft, who's been on it all season, the poor man, and Fabian Schär. They all remained unavailable due to their fitness issues. And will we see Schär again? We know we're not going to see Kraft again, and I have a slide coming up to talk about him in a minute. But Schär might be back. You know, we still need some of that leadership in the dressing room now that Trippier is going. So in the match stats, besides winning 3-1, we edged the key numbers despite West Ham matching Newcastle for shots. Key takeaway, 55% of the ball, West Ham 45% of the ball. Newcastle had more control, more danger and better chances. The XG was 1.73 for Newcastle and 0.95 for the Hammers. Magpies created the clearer openings with 3 big chances to West Ham's 1 and dominated set pieces with 9 corners to 1. West Ham still made it uncomfortable though. 15 shots each show that they carried a threat, and Newcastle needed 7 saves from Nick Pope, which suggests the visitors had enough moments to keep this game well alive. Even though Newcastle controlled the ball, created the better chances and dominated the corners, West Ham refused to go quietly. The XG backed that up for the Magpies with the goals. The saves kept it very tense towards the end of the game, and once again Newcastle had to earn every inch. A tribute now to Emil Kraft. He leaves Newcastle as one of those players fans quietly grew to respect more and more over time. He arrived for Mainz in France in 2019 and went on to spend 7 years at Newcastle, making 106 appearances for the club and leaving with a Carabao Cup winners' medal after Newcastle ended their long domestic trophy drought. He was never the flashiest name in the squad, but that was never really his role. Kraft was dependable, honest, professional and ready whenever Newcastle needed him. His best spell arguably came after Eddie Howe arrived, when he played an important part in helping the team drag itself away from relegation trouble in 21-22 season, especially after Kieran Trippier's injury. Injuries robbed Emil of his rhythm later on, especially the serious knee injuries, but he stayed a valued figure behind the scenes. Howe summed it up perfectly, saying Kraft embodied what it means to be a Newcastle United player and praised his mentality, professionalism and contribution on and off the pitch. He was never a headline maker, but a proper squad man, reliable when called upon, respected by teammates, never a problem, always committed. He leaves as part of the group that helped move Newcastle from survival mode to Wembley, Europe and silverware. Dependable, loyal, respected, a proper servant of the club. He's leaving at the end of his contract. He will be missed, and good luck to whatever arrives next for you, sir. Kieran led the team out against West Ham with his 3 children, his daughter in his arms, crying because of the noise, no doubt. But Kieran's career is one of the most important modern era chapters at this club. He joined from Atletico Madrid in January 2022 for around 12 million plus add-ons, becoming Eddie Howe's first signing after the takeover. And that mattered. He wasn't just a right back, he was the first proper signal that Newcastle were changing. From day one, Trippier brought standards, leadership, calmness and elite set-piece quality. In 21-22 survival season, he scored huge free kicks against Everton and Villa before injury interrupted his run, but his influence had already helped shift the mood around the club. His peak season was arguably 22-23. He wore the captain's armband for much of the campaign, helping Newcastle finish 4th in the Premier League, qualifying for the Champions League for the first time in over a decade since Sir Bobby Robson's team. We reached the Carabao Cup final and he was named the PFA Premier League Team of the Year. Newcastle's own profile notes he was also nominated for the Premier League Player of the Season. A massive thank you that Trippier gave to the fans and the club after the match, but we really need to thank him for everything, to be honest. War Flags did their bit. Tremendous display. As you can see in the picture here, the trips as you've come out of the tunnel and face the East Stand, the Melbourne Stand, you just had to suck it all in. It was fantastic. Trips remained a key figure throughout Newcastle's return to Europe. Famous nights at St James's Park, and then the big one, the 25 Carabao Cup win, where he played in the final as Newcastle ended their long domestic trophy. Recent reports credit him with Newcastle spell it around 159 appearances, 4 goals and 28 assists, with his contract set to expire in June this year. His legacy? Trippier goes down as a culture-changing signing. Not the flashiest name of the takeover era, but again, arguably the most symbolic. He arrived when Newcastle were in trouble, bought into the project early, raised the dressing room level, captained the side back into Europe, and he leaves as a cup winner. He was the first domino. He set the standards, the captain without an armband. He came when we were sinking. He leaves with us dreaming. Thank you, sir. We have one more match to go this season, away to Fulham, Sunday, 24th of May, 4 p.m. kickoff at the Cottage. But thank you for watching this match series against West Ham and all the videos that I've produced. Eddie Howe's press conference, my MatchDay programme, my predictions, the team news from Eddie, my halftime notes and comments, full-time whistle report and comments, and then this final word where I delve into everything Newcastle United. It's been a great ending to the home season. Home form's not been fantastic. It's not been the fortress that we became used to under Eddie. But the European campaign itself produced highlights at St James's Park that will live for a very, very long time. And the away performances in Europe as well. Absolutely astonishing. Until that second half, that final second half against Barcelona. But it wasn't, we got to the round of 16. It did, we'd not done that before. We set new standards and new heights. So again, thanks for watching. Away the lads. And now let's beat Fulham and get back into Europe. Thank you, Kieran Trippier. You arrived when Newcastle needed leaders, standards and belief, and you gave us all three. From that first free kick to lifting expectations at St James's Park, your influence went far beyond assists and tackles. You helped change the culture, raised the bar, and gave everything in black and white. A true professional, a proper leader, and always part of this Newcastle story. Thank you very much.